First, welcome Ricky, our newest trustee, joining the team today. I'm sorry, Ricky, that you're having to do it virtually.
That's all right.
So I appreciate you figuring Zoom out and joining us on this. As most of you probably know, in the past kind of week and a half, the positive rate in Greene County has gone up 3x. So we're not where we were at the worst of it, but we're trending in the wrong direction because of outbreaks at the prison. 82 is what I heard this morning, 82 positive at the prison. So the expectation is most of those corrections officers are likely to be positive, which is liable to spread rapidly in the community. So I much prefer starting meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance and doing them in person, even with masks. But I think it's prudent that we watch that rate at the rate that it's gone up in the last week and a half. We felt that it was prudent to go back to Zoom. If we see it go back down, we'll go back to in-person meetings. If we see it continue to trend up, then we'll likely be stuck virtually for the next few meetings. So we'll kind of play that by ear. So for the board and for department heads and members of the public, I ask be patient. I know this was short notice. I'll try to do a little bit better notice. Amy and I will keep an eye on this, keep an eye on infection rates, and make decisions as early as we can based on what we're seeing with the rates. But for right now, the default is Zoom until we change back to in-person meetings. Make sense? All right, Tal will be on in a minute. He just responded. I do not see Anthony, so we'll start with Wayne. If you want to put your DPW hat on first, Wayne.
Okay. So the only thing Anthony wanted me to bring up was we poured the concrete slab for the fuel tank out back by the new building. Yesterday, he had me go down to Lowe's to price out the building material to put a roof over it and enclose it. And today, we actually had an idea of getting a price on one of those metal buildings like we're going to put on the salt shed. And actually doing that is actually a lot cheaper than building it. So he wanted to see about getting approval to go ahead and purchase that. The price of the building is $28.65, and for us to build it, $28.65. In order for us to build it, and this quote does not include anything pressure treated because they cannot give you a quote on pressure treated right now, and it doesn't include the hardware, and you're looking at $26.84, and then our time to build it.
Is this fully enclosed?
Yes. Yep. It's roof, back, and two sides, and the front's open.
Just cover
the fuel tank.
Why would we want that enclosed? Why wouldn't we want access from all three sides? Even, are you allowed to enclose a fuel tank? Isn't there a vapor?
No, it's open. It's open. The building would be 10 feet tall. The whole front's open. A lot of people do that to actually protect the tank.
So it's a three-sided shed, essentially.
Yeah, basically big carport. It's like the ones you see up on 9W there in the Baltimore. That's Eagle Sales. That's where we got the quote for the building that's going to go on top of the salt shed. And we figured, get the same thing. The two buildings would match, and the colors will match the new building.
Here, so I'll open this for discussion, but I'm going to start with my opinion. My opinion is capture it. Let's keep a spreadsheet of that. Let's talk, put the salt shed on the spreadsheet. Any other items that we're looking to do, let's track them all in one place. And then as we get closer, and I know that we have not, gone above our plan and into the additional funding that we have available, then I'd like to wait and make those decisions as we get closer to complete. That would be my recommendation, but I'll open it to the board.
All right. The other thing too with both those buildings.
Let me see if there's any other.
Okay.
From the board.
Oh, Rob, I think Rob, you're muted.
You're muted. Sorry, Rob. Lower left.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
All right. If I may say something, the window for good weather is closing fast on us. In respect to the salt shed, the blacktop plant shuts down in November. So we're kind of running out of time for us to get, try to get this stuff done before winter. We got the money there to do the shed for the fuel tank plus the salt shed. There's money there for. One thing we got to keep in mind, we only have one meeting for November, so these guys are kind of running out of time to get all this stuff done. And I'm a big proponent of, if we're going to do it, let's do it all now, get it done and over with. That's just my thoughts on it. I was actually hoping to try to get a resolution done tonight for a salt shed.
Because didn't we already discuss, am I muted? Didn't we already discuss the cost of the fuel tank enclosure and sort of approve it?
No, we approved the cost of the fuel tank itself.
Okay.
Okay, so Rob makes a good point. I can't argue that point, Rob.
Yeah. I
We
agree.
just have, we have to keep in mind, we only have one meeting for November, so we're, the window for good weather, and, these guys are gonna start having to get their trucks and stuff ready for the winter time, so, they're gonna be tied up with that stuff, by getting this enclosure for the fuel tank, it's gonna save them a lot of time.
I think you won the argument, Rob.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
I think you won the argument, Rob.
I agree with you. I agree with you too.
Well, the only other thing,
Any other comments?
I thought we were gonna do a community grant for the salt shed. That's done? We don't need to? Wasn't that discussed last meeting?
I believe it was brought up, pursuing a community grant. I don't know where we are with that part, though.
We wouldn't get money till Christmas.
Well, I say if the money's there, we should move forward before the weather turns.
MJ, and you're muted. How much money was remaining in the lawn mowing fund?
I don't have it with me because I'm home, so I don't have my budget with me. So we just have a bill in this packet here to be paid tonight. So I can give you a figure tomorrow.
Yeah, the bill for tonight was like $660 or something like that.
Where I was going to go with that is we expected to have around 7,000 remaining because of what we had budgeted against the more expensive, and when we rebid it, it came in around $7,000 less. Although I think we had some amount of mowing done beyond the 15 weeks that we expected, right? So maybe a little less than 7,000.
I think it was more than 7,000 less. Wasn't it like half?
We went from 24 to 18.
To 14 or something like that?
We went to 18, 17. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't want to say without having it in front of me. So,
Okay.
but
So what I'd like to do then, and is Tal still not on?
the other thing too is the last week the last meeting, we also mentioned the fact that some of these, I got on a little late, so I don't know, I missed the beginning of it. I assume you're talking about the salt shed and the cover for the fuel tank or the pad or whatever.
That's right.
You can also put those expenses into the long-term bond, because it looks like you're going to come in under. I don't know what the figures you were talking about though, but
Well, what I was gonna suggest, MJ, is that we start with a resolution to transfer all remaining funds in the lawnmower, in the whatever we call that fund, in the mowing, into the DPW building reserve. So, because that was what we planned on doing early on when we knew that we had achieved some savings in the mowing, is that we were going to put that towards the salt shed. So we'll email what that number is. And Tal, I'm playing a little fast and loose here because we're not exactly sure how much is in that fund right now. But what I'd like is a resolution to transfer all funds remaining in the mowing fund or the mowing budget over to the DPW reserve. Would anyone be willing to make that? Any discussion on that?
I'll offer it.
Anybody? Yeah, we talked about that. Okay, so Rob offers,
I'll second.
Amy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
So that carries. All right, so MJ, let's email out how much that is tomorrow, please.
Okay.
Okay, so now now we've moved some of the money for the salt shed, which I expect to be in the neighborhood of $6,000 against the $15,000. But we'll get that number tomorrow. So now let's go back to the salt shed conversation. And the salt shed conversation is, do we need to build a salt shed prior to, essentially January? Because we wouldn't see community grant funds until, I think generally they're awarded on December 26th, right, Gail?
Yeah, around there.
Rob?
There's no possible way we can get that done now and then? I don't.
There's no way we'd get the grant award before.
Okay.
There's a whole process that goes through. Decisions are made by the board right around Thanksgiving. That goes to the board of directors who review it, and they have to notify everybody, and so that's a fairly firm timeline.
All right.
That results in
Okay.
about a Christmas award.
All right, because like I said, the plant will shut down in November, so if that was the case there, we wouldn't be able to do it till next year anyway, so.
It also doesn't mean we would be awarded the full grant. Keep that in mind. So,
What's our other option to pay for it?
Well, there's $7,500 in the line item now. And like Mary Jo said, we could have added it in with the bond.
Yeah, so we should be within $1,000 or $2,000. And so the bond does go well over the need. And so far, we're on budget. So we have additional funds available. So, and I'm relatively comfortable with the types of dollars we're talking about here.
And that's pretty remarkable that a new building construction, we're coming in under budget so far. That's pretty good, given the current state of affairs.
We'll get Jason Preisner a nice Christmas present this year. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
So add it into the bond and move forward, or?
And Rob, you just said something. Did we have a separate line item for a salt shed, or did we have that?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there's a separate line item.
There's $7,500 in that line item.
Okay,
So it would be
I'd like
easier if
to
we just
amend-
did it this year too, and as opposed to keeping another, fund for it, like a reserve account. So if you're going to do it, you should just do it before the end of this fiscal year, just to get rid of that line item.
Okay, and then I should amend that first resolution that we made, which would be rather than transferring the funds into the DPW reserve, to transfer it against that line item for the salt shed.
Yeah, I would do that. It just makes it a whole lot easier.
All right, so.
so then we don't need the
Then the
grant.
original motion, then I guess, Rob.
Pardon me?
All right, so let's just, for the sake of formality, let's amend that original motion and transfer the funds to the salt shed rather than to the DPW reserve where I had originally suggested it.
Okay.
So if I can get a resolution for that, I know I'm convoluted a bit here, but I want
I'll offer that.
to.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Sorry, just wanted to make sure we were clean on that.
So do I need to put the grant in for that or no? Since we have the money? No.
We have the money, so no.
Okay.
Okay. So the bid that I saw, and maybe this is a conversation for you, Wayne, because now I understand the time is of the essence a bit here. We don't have a bid for a salt shed right now. So, Cal, are you still around there? For a salt shed that's going to run us in the neighborhood of $15,000,
Mhm.
do we have to go out and bid that separately?
No, you just have to get 3 written quotes for it because I think it's 30,000 where you have to go get bids for public construction.
Okay, so then what I would suggest, and Tal, make sure that I'm not stepping out of bounds here, would be a resolution authorizing the expenditure of up to $15,000 for a salt shed pending the receipt of bids. Does that sound about reasonable?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right, so what I'm asking for then is, let's discuss it. What I'm proposing is a resolution authorizing the expenditure of up to $15,000 for the purchase of a salt shed pending receipt of 3 bids.
I'll offer that.
I'll second.
Dale, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so passes. Rob, Wayne, you guys want to sort out how we go get those bids?
Yes, no
You guys have
problem.
an action?
We can take care of it. I'll work with Wayne on it.
Okay. All right. Finally, I assume the same will apply for the shed in the neighborhood of $3,000, Tal. That we would have to go get 3 bids for that as well. And it
Yes.
sounds like you've got 2, Rob, so far.
I believe 1, right, Wayne?
Yeah,
From
just one.
Eagle.
Yep.
Eagle tool around. We
Okay.
need 2 more. We can get them, no problem.
Okay, so
Yeah.
here again, it would be approval of up to $3,000 for the purchase of a 3-sided shed, or for a shed to cover the fuel farm, pending receipt of 3 bids. Make sense?
Yes,
Anyone like to make that resolution?
I'll offer it.
Second it.
Ricky, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. Okay, bear with me just a second here. I've got to. Okay, so Wayne, that's that. What else do you have, Wayne, for DPW?
That's about it.
Stefan, let me jump in and make one quick little correction there. I just pulled up our procurement policy. Since it's going to be under 4,000, we only need 2 written quotes. We don't need 3.
It's even better yet.
Yeah. Deb, I think you're muted.
And
Okay, so we won't be as formal with it as we were last time, but that resolution will be to require 2 quotes then.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Fire Chief, let's hear
Okay.
from Mr. Wayne Butterworth.
all right, so I know I had on my report that 2 members, but after talking to Amy, we'll do the swearing in next Tuesday. And he's on mute again.
I hear you. I'm evicted the
There
dog.
you go. So yeah, so we'll do that. We'll do that next Tuesday.
Got it. Yep.
Oh.
Amy sent me the notes. I've got it on my calendar for Tuesday. I will be there.
Okay, and you have a meeting next Tuesday in the meeting
Nope,
room again?
not next Tuesday, no.
Oh, you don't? Okay. I just figured it'd be easier for you because you've been here almost every Tuesday.
It's all right.
So, and yeah, we got 2 members flying out this Friday to go pick up a new rescue truck. Hopefully it'll be back probably tomorrow, Saturday, late afternoon, evening, hopefully, because they plan on driving straight through.
Okay. Drive straight through.
Yeah, it's a 20-hour ride. Uh-huh. So, we finally heard back from the Terry Fell Fund.
Trucking company.
What's that?
No way you're not allowed to drive straight through 20 hours. And I'm inclined to tell you, no way you're not allowed to drive straight through 20 hours, Wayne.
But because it's a fire department, I don't think they have to have a logbook, but they're going to take a logbook with them. It's 2 drivers. They're going to alternate back and forth.
Why wouldn't we spend the night?
I think with the whole COVID thing, they're a little worried about spending the night in another state.
Where are they picking it up from?
Minnesota.
They're quarantined when they get back anyway.
Yep. They both know that.
Thoughts?
Are there specific rules against it?
Not that I know, not that I'm aware of.
And they're gonna alternate driving.
Yeah.
I'm worrying too much.
Maybe.
Rob,
Then, right?
anybody got my back on this one, or are we comfortable with it?
We just give them some extra coffee money, or I don't know. I'm not super worried about it, but
I did tell them though, if they both feel that they're getting too exhausted, to either pull off someplace and rest in the truck at a truck stop or something.
if they need to stay the night, we can reimburse them after the fact,
Well,
correct?
the company's picking up the whole bill for bringing it back.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, all right, got it.
I'm just, I'm looking at the New York State Transportation Law, and no driver shall drive more than 12 hours following 8 consecutive hours off duty. So yeah, legally they can do it as long as they're rotating, no more than 8 hours.
Okay, all right, I'll stop worrying.
I mean, they'll do, if they get tired, they'll rest, or they'll
Yeah.
be responsible about it.
Yep.
All right, what else, Wayne?
Finally heard back from the Terry Farrell Fund on what we can do with that old rescue truck, the one that's not in service right now. They basically said we can do whatever we want with it, and if we do sell it, to throw them a donation, which I have in my additional business. I'll get to that afterwards.
Okay,
The smaller utility truck that, you know, as I spoke to you about, that Anthony has shown interest in the truck. So what we'd like to do is actually basically trade trucks. They'll take our smaller utility. We'll take the other utility and go ahead and put that on Auction International and try to make the money back for what I was going to get with the other truck.
everyone understand what we're discussing there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, was there talk of the old M25 being transferred over to DPW, Wayne?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. The old M25. We're gonna basically trade trucks, and the department here will auction it off and try to, you know, recuperate some of the money for the purchase of the new rescue truck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it? We're not getting the whole 15-minute sales pitch you've honed?
Nope.
It's a good sales pitch.
I already hit you up on that. I can go on if you want.
All right, so this week then, the
Mhm.
request would be to make a motion to allow the transfer of, and give me a description of the first truck going through the DPW, and then the transfer, give me a description of the second truck going to the fire department, to make that transfer. And then in a future meeting, we'll talk about surplusing that other truck once it's officially transferred. So why don't you read out what that motion sounds like for me, Wayne? With
All right, so the transfer from the fire department to the DPW would be a 2009 F550 crew cab utility body. And the truck from the DPW is an 06 F450 extended cab utility body.
Did you get all that, MJ?
No, not at all.
All right, one more time. Transfer, so the resolution or the motion will be to transfer from the fire department to the DPW, a
09 F550 crew cab utility truck.
and to transfer, I'll let you finish.
06.
Hold on, let's let Wayne.
Oh, okay.
Make sure MJ's caught up. You good?
Yep. Mhm.
Transfer from the DPW to the fire department.
Would be 06 F450 extended cab utility truck.
Okay, got it.
Any further discussion from the board? Everyone's clear on what we're doing here?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a good idea.
Okay?
I really do. I think it's a good idea.
All right.
Would
Somebody,
anyone like to make the motion as proposed by mostly Wayne?
I will.
Amy,
I'll second it.
Ricky, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. Okay, and then we'll come back to surplusing in a future meeting, Wayne.
Okay.
MJ, you got all that?
Yes, got it.
Thank you.
Another thing, I would like to get permission to install cameras and new keypads at the doors on the fire department, but I am applying for the community grant to purchase it all.
Okay,
Being a municipal building, I need the permission to, basically I want to get permission to go ahead and so I can write the grant or submit the grant.
okay. Tal, do we even need to give him permission as a board to submit a grant for that?
No, you can if you want, but it's not really required.
But do we have to if they install cameras?
Pardon me?
Do we have to give them permission if they install cameras? I
Didn't
don't
we
know.
already, aren't they already there?
No, we have no cameras here.
Oh, all right, yeah, we should do that then.
Okay, so then we'll need a motion to approve the fire department to apply for a grant to install cameras in the firehouse.
I'll make that motion.
Amy?
I'll second.
Dale, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so carries.
And last thing I got on report is last Friday we held fire prevention.
How'd it go? I was
It
excited.
went good. I mean, it wasn't exciting as we've had in the past where, you know, we didn't have EMS, we didn't have a 911 dispatcher, police, the helicopter, and the walk-through house. We weren't able to smoke up a room for the older kids, but because of the whole social distancing, but it went pretty good. The kids really enjoyed themselves.
Good. Good, I'm glad you were able to do that.
Yeah, it was still a 2-day event. John Greco did not Zoom, but the other thing with the school and every classroom on a Thursday, and then they came down on Friday, and the kids really, really loved it.
Cool.
What else, Wayne?
The calls, as you can see from my report, we had a lot of them in September, including quite a few structure fires. Luckily, they weren't major. One at Roger's house. The pedestrian versus train in Hudson, we got called to. Yeah, that's about it. We had quite a few, like I said. Then in the additional business was declaring for surplus. I know we'll hold off on utility truck from DPW, but I need permission to declare. We have a bunch of old air packs and bottles. I don't have the number of the air packs or bottles right now, but roughly close to 20 air packs.
Wayne, let's get a good list.
Okay.
So we've got serial numbers and everything.
Right, okay.
We're doing it officially from inventory.
Okay. That, and, you know, I got all the old low band radios and pagers out of the trucks, radio, everything, all that stuff.
Let's provide a spreadsheet with the list and the serial numbers, and so we've got the right count and the right, so that we've got accurate inventory of what you have.
Right. Okay. And also that the old rescue truck, figure we'll put it on Auction International for basically scrap, for parts only.
Okay.
And it'll be, saved for parts only.
Okay.
So try to get something back for that thing.
All right. So I didn't open it to the board questions for Wayne on DPW. So any questions for Wayne on either DPW or fire department from the board?
Nope.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yep.
Gail, are you covering for Roger tonight? We've got Ed too, so whichever of you like to cover for the police.
I'm sorry to butt in. Can I jump in and go, because I got to zoom up to Jewett here?
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forgot that you were at the top.
No, that's all right. Well, I was cooking up my dinner when it was my turn, right?
Go ahead, Tal.
And it's actually not a whole lot, but we're all set to go as far as doing the public hearing at the next meeting for the extension of the waterfront moratorium. I wrote the law, sent it over to Mary Jo along with the notice. And same thing with the upgrade to our vehicle and traffic no parking law, so that we've got that all squared away. And thank you for helping me with my directional inabilities.
Let's make sure that, if you don't mind, do you have, well, we need to get Ricky's email to you and make sure he's got those, because those would have gone out to,
Yeah.
I don't think Ricky would have gotten those.
Yeah,
So
I don't think I sent it to him, so I can, yeah, if you get me that, I'll send them right
About
over.
Ricky is, we passed a moratorium on waterfront development for mixed-use waterfront, pending completion of the comprehensive plan. And we want to extend that because the comprehensive plan is not expected to be done until January at the earliest. And then the second is we met, I'd have to pull the meeting minutes, but it'd be worth looking at. We did a review from DPW, fire, and police on single side parking on North Franklin. And I won't try to regurgitate from where from to, but essentially the short version is from the firehouse on North Franklin out to Market Street. We had a lot of discussion on that in a previous meeting. It may be worth pulling the minutes for that. But the feedback from all three was either neutral or positive for single side parking. So we're going to move forward with both of those in public hearing at the next meeting in October. So if you have any questions, call me. And it may be worth taking a look at those minutes, particularly for the single side parking one. Okay.
Also, just make sure, I'll check and make sure that I have clean copies of those to post on the website. I'm not sure that I have the final drafts of those both.
Right.
Because I'll post them online and I'll put up the little comment thingy again.
I'll resend the final one to you, Amy.
Great, thank you.
MJ, real quick, while I'm thinking of it and we're on the topic, please make sure I'm on the public agenda at the next meeting as well to review the policing review process. Okay. Tal, the community center, any motion?
No, actually nothing. I sent, we sent the stuff over to them with the new upgrades and nothing.
Gail, you haven't heard anything more, have you?
No.
Okay, and I got no response to my email either. I'll send another.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I mean, Gail, if you happen to have an opportunity to see if you can get some insight into what's going on there.
Yeah, I'm meeting with them next week over the fire contract anyway, so
Okay,
I'll bring it up again.
good.
And let's see. You guys actually beat me to the punch on trying to figure out what to do with the tree for Mr. Groneman.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I did more research with the Greene County Real Property Tax Services, and that web map imaging that they use, it shows all the property lines and the village right-of-ways and all that. Based on what I saw, the trunk of it is just inside the village's right-of-way. So I was more than satisfied that it was our tree after all. So that tree has been, I called Anthony up and had them add it to the list there. They just took it down last week, as a matter of fact.
I was gonna say, that sucker's gone.
Yeah, that's been, it's
Yeah,
deceiving when you look at it, where it is. It's, when you go up there, it looks like it's on the private property, but when you, according to real property tax map, and it's actually a village tree. It wasn't tagged though. I thought that was rather interesting. But
We probably just gave the arborist a generic 6 foot when we sent them out to do that.
yeah, probably, yeah.
Unless we'd have gone in and done all the research you just did, we wouldn't have known to tell them to look at that.
Okay. So that's been resolved, so.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Then the last thing I have is that we did finalize the easement that we gave ourselves with the utilities so that we can get electric over to the new garage.
Okay.
So that's all set.
All right, you and I may need to get together this week and talk about the next letter to the town then.
Okay.
I mean,
All right. Yeah.
I'm
I did all of the changes that the town attorney said that she wanted. And nothing, no reaction, no response.
And I got no response on
Your follow-up letter.
follow-up letter regarding the rents.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Anything else for Tal? Any questions for Tal?
Nope.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Call me if you need
Thank
me. I'll
you.
still be available with my phone, so
Okay.
I'll be around.
All right. Good night.
Have a good night.
All right, police.
Hey, Rob, just a quick.
Yes.
We have a question in the chat. Where did you get the tax maps? How did you find them?
It's actually on, you can access it online too. If you go on greengovernment.com,
Okay.
click under the departments there, click on Real Property Tax Services there, you'll see a link to it.
Great. Yeah, I think you can get it from our site too. Cool.
Mhm.
Thank you, guys. The chat is working.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't. Okay, I see it. I got
Yeah,
it.
you
Now
got
I
it.
just-
Okay, I took me a minute to find it again. It's been a while since I've been on Zoom.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. Police.
So Ed, do you have anything for police?
I don't have any of the reports in front of me, to be honest with you. I didn't know I was coming to the meeting tonight.
Sorry,
All
I
right,
am. Yeah.
I think I sent out everybody Roger's report.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the past 30 days, 2 arrests, 24 calls for service, 2 were animal complaints, 2 medical calls, 9 vehicle complaints, and 11 assisted citizens. Ed's retirement issue is still being coordinated with the union.
Just so you know, Gail, I spoke with retirement the other day. So they already have the paperwork started. I don't know who, the union already sent paperwork to them that they were trying to get everything forward as fast as possible. I spoke with a couple people in retirement the other day, and they don't see any of it as an issue. We already have the bill sponsored. They're just waiting for everybody to come back and just get it signed. From what they're telling me, they're hoping to get it all done by like January or February.
Good.
And so am I.
Yeah. The next issue is Halloween. What do you want them to do? Do you want them out? Do you want,
You asking me?
I'm asking the board, do we want the extra patrols on Halloween?
We usually do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I put, if you give me a second, I'll just pull up the schedule. I didn't have everybody come in like we usually do.
Okay.
I think I had 6 guys coming in, and then I have 1 guy on the day shift.
All right. And is there going to be a curfew? Do we want a curfew?
I would highly recommend that based on what happened about 20 years ago.
Well, it's on a Saturday too, so.
Were you around for that, Ed?
Yeah. It doesn't hurt to have one, I can tell you that.
No.
So what do we want that to be? What's a good time?
What do we
There's
usually
already
do?
curfew on the books. There's a curfew in the code book.
Yeah, all they have to do is just post it. But
What is
we
the
can vote.
curfew? What is the curfew?
What is it, 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
8 o'clock for 18 and younger, I believe.
It's 17 and younger.
17.
18, yeah. 18 you're allowed out.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I've seen some 25-year-old children too over the course of time. Too.
So that already exists in our code, MJ?
Yes.
Okay, so we just need to get it posted then.
Okay.
All right, and 6 sounds adequate to me. Does anybody have an issue with that?
Yeah, that's fine. I think that's
That's
fine.
good.
If we can get used to one of the DPW pickup trucks, that'd be great.
Well, hopefully, the one that's down at the sewer plant is done for. That's now a parts truck.
If not, I get it.
No,
What do you
too
say, DPW
dangerous.
truck?
We usually put one guy driving around the DPW truck.
Well, hopefully,
If not,
I don't know.
we have all 3 police cars back now, so if we need to, we can always just put them in that. It was just nice to have the extra vehicle to drive around.
I would say a few on bikes or walking, right?
Well, what they do is they post up. They'll park their car. One will park it on the bottom of 2nd Street or in the middle of 2nd Street, and they'll walk foot patrol on 2nd Street. And then we usually have the other 2 roaming the 2 sides, other side of town. One on one side, one on the other. And if we needed the DPW truck, it was just always nice to have just in case we needed it.
Yeah, I don't know if the new one we got coming will be in time. I'm not sure. So,
If we put the 2 guys on bikes, as long as the weather's good enough, if we put the 2 guys on bikes, we'll have plenty.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if the weather's that bad, it may be worth cutting back to 4 officers anyway.
Halloween on a Saturday?
It is.
Yeah, it is. I just looked in the code and it actually says 19 years old. Do we want to,
Can't do that. Can't 19, you can't. They're at 18, you can't. Tell them they can't.
yeah, so I'll just write 17 and younger. It's in the code as 19, but it's old. 1976, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just put 17 when I post it.
Good. Anything else for police scale? Ed?
No, I don't have anything.
Nope.
Any questions on the board?
Nope.
All right. So the reason I asked Ed, and so we've got Officer Sergeant Ed Turcasio and Officer Jeff Russo in attendance tonight representing code enforcement. So they're still very new at this. We met with Tal right before this meeting, kind of trying to get our arms around it, but I wanted them to attend, introduce themselves, have you guys meet them. Obviously, Officer Russo has no video, but hopefully you guys have all seen him around. But those are per the organizational meeting. Those are the two that are now appointed as our code enforcement officers, and we got a long list to get caught up on of outstanding issues. So we started going through those, and we'll work our way down through that. But I am very confident we will have much more proactive code enforcement here now. So, and no hard questions today, only softballs. Are new at it.
Are you
Anything-
gonna have, you ready for a question?
Yep, go ahead.
Are you gonna have special office hours?
To be honest with you, Gail, we haven't discussed that with the mayor yet, but I'm pretty flexible on my days off. My schedule changes every week, so I don't know if we can have set hours.
Well, what you and I had talked about is that you know your schedule weeks in advance.
Oh yeah, I know when I'm working right till the day I retire.
Right, so we can post hours weeks in advance on the website.
Absolutely. Like I won't be able to say I could be there every Thursday at noon, because that's not feasible for me right now with my full-time employment.
Right, but it could be, we could identify what those hours will be each week, even though they may not be the same each week, what those hours will be, because we will know your schedule, is what you and I had talked about.
Absolutely. Yep.
The same, but Jeff, I don't know if you and I spoke about that, but that's, that's what I'd like to do, is if we can get, 2 hours of office hours from each of you at a scheduled time each week, get it posted, even if it's not the same each week, as long as people know where to go look for it on the website, and we've got it out there, a week, 2 weeks in advance, we can do that. Does that work for you, Jeff?
Yeah, I can, with my business, I can work it with Sergeant Turcasio to set a particular day each week or every other week, depending on how we're gonna handle that between, both of us splitting the reps here with our schedules as we make them for the department, for me to be in during the week.
So yeah, Gail, we'll get ahead of that here next week, and we'll start getting something published on office hours.
All right, because I have a planning board meeting next week, and I think that they're gonna be asking a lot of questions about this, so I want to make sure I know what to tell them.
That's on our list, as well as to meet with Maggie.
Okay.
Did you guys discuss at all just having it say by appointment?
But what we said is we think we can post hours onto the website, but we will do by appointment as well.
That would be me.
Well, if you created the place for them to do it,
Yeah.
and then showed them how to go post it, so that you're not constantly having to contact them about their hours,
Yeah.
but you teach them where to go to post those hours.
Yeah.
Would it be easier if I sent you like a schedule during the week, the days that I'm available?
Yeah, and I could actually add it into the event calendar, so at least it'll show, and that's kind of easy because I can repeat it, and it'll show, code enforcement office hours, and it could be on the calendar, and I can put a link to that from the code enforcement page, and
That's where I was going. Okay, good.
you can just do it all, like maybe if it can go in a month in advance or whatever, so people can plan out. It just seems like it might get confusing if it's not the same.
Well, I wouldn't be able to do the same
Yeah.
time every week, because this week I'm off on Thursday, but next week I work Thursday.
Yeah.
Jeff, you said you can be a little more consistent.
I believe that I can. I don't see any issue as to why not at this time. But I also want to ensure that I'm meeting the department's requirements, and Sergeant Turcasio and Chief Massey's requirements.
Okay.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Can you put something on there when you put the availability out, or the days that we're going to be available, that will be in the police department? Because we're gonna run everything through the police department,
Okay.
or through the office, the police department's office in there, and we can figure that out.
Yeah,
If you
I'll
put
do
something out there too, that'd be easier too.
I'll do some changes to there's a code enforcement page on the website, so I'll make changes to that that'll reflect all of this, and then probably direct people to the calendar, because that's probably the easiest way to have them show up if they're not going to be the same every time, as opposed to like just putting, you know, Tuesday and Thursday, such and such an hour to such and such an hour. We'll go to the calendar and then
Yep.
arrange.
Would it be easier if I sent you my availability for the whole month?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wait. Okay.
And then you guys can just confirm and tell me, you know, what you've decided on. And if you can send it to me a month at a time, that would be fantastic.
No problem. I'll do that then.
Cool, thank you.
I got a question. Have you guys contacted the county yet? So if I need you guys at a fire scene, so when I call for code enforcement, they're gonna contact you, one of you two?
I did not. I can call Randy and let him know.
All right, yeah, because
But I'm
otherwise.
pretty sure you know how to get a hold of me, Wayne.
Well, I know, I do, but. But
Yes,
I mean, if
I will
I'm
make
not
sure-
there, you know, one of my other chief officers, they need you. You know, because if the, you know, county needs to know, because otherwise they're gonna keep calling Mike.
Nope, I'll take care of that with Randy tomorrow.
Okay.
Anything else for code enforcement? All right. Thanks, Ed. Thanks, Jeff.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Good night.
North Dome, Seth.
Good evening, everybody. How's everyone?
Very good.
Good. Did you all get a copy of my report?
Yes, I did.
Pretty normal. The wastewater, excuse me, the water treatment plant flows are normal. No alarm calls for the month, which was nice. Joe wanted me to let you know that we are planning on doing a flush at sometime this month. We just haven't scheduled it in. And that would be a full system flush. And again, we're going to be doing it at night, probably between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. So the usage is down and less disruption of the system, or less disruption to the customer.
Okay. So Wayne, I had talked to Anthony about that, but we're gonna essentially transition over to the flushes becoming North Dome responsibility from here out.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Sewer plant down in the village, flows are good. Little over, well, just under 3 inches of rain. We only had one day in the month that we exceeded our permit. And that was the last day of the month when we got all that rain. This month, I didn't want to jump ahead, but this month we had a little issue with a power outage down at the sewer plant. What was that, one night last week? We had that storm blow through. And unfortunately, the generator was non-operable. Which means we lost all our pumps and everything. We were able to put together a SOP for dealing with that situation should it arise again, where we use portable pumps to move the raw water to the aeration tanks. We actually put it together, got it going, works like a charm, so we're covered there. The generator, hopefully we'll have that back in a week or so. It got a little more involved than what we thought it was going to be with the battery charger. They came to put the new battery charger in and realized that the motherboard and the control panel had also been burned out. So that's been ordered, and we're waiting for the part and for them to come down and put it in. That's going to add $4,000 to the original $2,000 that we had for the battery charger. So that total repair is going to come to $6,000. We don't have it in the generator maintenance budget, but we do have enough money in the repair, maintenance, and miscellaneous expense line items in the budget to cover it.
Okay.
So we're good to go there. We also, a couple weeks ago, lost the level transducer in the raw water wet well, which controls the pumps that pump the raw water up to the aeration tanks. So we were able, of course, to run it in manual. But that's not an ideal way to do it. But that unit was replaced yesterday and is working perfectly, and everything's back up and running there. And that repair is going to run about $1,100, $825 for the transducer, and the balance is to the installation that we did yesterday. So everything is moving towards being back on an even keel. Brick Row, nothing really to report up there. No days did we exceed flow last month, even with the 3 inches of rain. Average flow per day is about 3,000 gallons. That's what I got.
So I'll say a quick thank you to Seth and Joe for the day of the power outage. When we learned as soon as the power went out that we had no backup power, I watched these two spring into action and find ways to get pumps running and keep us afloat, so to speak.
Yeah, or not floating, as the case may be.
And
thanks to you,
honestly,
Stefan.
also Central Hudson, we've got a special number that I can call to get a regional coordinator. And I called him and explained the situation, and he said, yes, we're prioritizing you with all the other down trees with hot lines on streets, and somebody should be out there very soon. And then I called him back and said, by the way, our backup power to the wastewater treatment went down, and what did it, 10 minutes, they were there. I mean, they were on it. So that was good community response all the way around on that. So, but I appreciate what you guys did. You guys were working your butts off to keep that place working. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome, absolutely, and thank you for facilitating Central Hudson's quick repairs, because that makes everybody's life easier. The only other thing is that we lost power to the water plant at the same time, and that generator worked like a charm.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and no problems. Didn't miss a beat. The repairs were pretty expensive. It took down the power lines between the street and the plant. The head of the DPW in the town got a hold of Central Hudson and facilitated, and Central Hudson actually came in and did the repairs on that private line. So they had us back up. We were on generator up there a little over 40 hours, which is pretty good.
And all the appropriate alarms went off and everything worked like it's supposed to?
Well, we not only did we lose power, we also lost the phone lines. So we had no alarms. But we all knew exactly what was going to happen. One of our operators, Stuart, went to the plant immediately. He lives up on High Hill, so he's right around the corner. So the minute the storm went through, he was at the plant and found what he knew he was going to find and got everything up and running. So, it was a team effort between us and the village and all you guys, and we appreciate your help. Absolutely.
Any questions, comments for Seth?
Nope.
Thank you, Seth.
Okay. Thank you all very much. Have a nice evening.
Thanks.
You
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Seth.
Thank you.
I should have hooked up to my second computer. I'm running all off of one here. Okay, facility use application. This is for the Athens Cultural Center to use the Riverside Park for art classes, listed 10 adults, 10 children, submitted by Carol Feaster. This is on the October 17th and 18th. Do we have any conflicts there, MJ? I don't think so.
No,
Okay,
no.
any questions on that?
Just one, not really a question, just can we mention to them, I don't know if it's them, but a couple of times when there's been those art classes going on and there've been people parked in, like just inside the park, like beside the band shell, beside the gazebo. So just mention to them to tell people like, you can't park there, you know? I don't know if it was them. I just noticed cars there when the art classes were happening. So
Okay.
that's all.
Can you make that mention, MJ?
Yes. Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, so would anyone like to make a motion to approve the facility use application for the Athens Cultural Center on the 17th and 18th?
I will.
Second it.
Rob, all in favor?
All right.
Bye.
Opposed? So carries. Next one is the Pumpkin Parade Committee, looking to decorate the Riverside Park due to cancellation of the Pumpkin Parade. It will be decorated ghoulishly. And then what they've done is they've given school children pumpkins to carve as jack-o'-lanterns, and they intend to put the jack-o'-lanterns around the park. I don't know, anything else, MJ? Did I cover all that?
No, that's it. It's basically if the weather is nice. It's not going to be promoted heavily or anything like that. Neighborhood kind of thing. And if it works out, then it could be nice, but it's all dependent upon the weather.
Yep, your sound went out a little bit, but I think we all got it. Any questions for MJ on this one? Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
no questions. Everybody shook their head.
Would anyone like to, sorry, I'm looking at the documents. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the facility use application for the Riverfront Park for the Athens Pumpkin Parade Committee on October 31st?
I'll offer that.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carries. All right. Any questions on the minutes?
No.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve minutes?
I'll offer it.
We have two sets.
Um,
We have to do them separately.
all I've got on here is to approve the September 23rd minutes.
Okay.
But
Because
there
I
should-
got October 5th ones.
You can approve October 5th too while you're at it, the organizational meeting.
for the
I
organization.
forgot to put them on there. They're done too, so you might as well just approve them both if you can.
Yep. Any questions on the organizational meeting minutes? Okay, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the village board on September 23rd and the village board organizational meeting on October 5th?
I'll make a motion.
Ricky?
I'll second it.
Rob, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. Now, I honestly did not see the vouchers. Did you send those out, MJ?
Yeah, I sent the abstracts, but they didn't go out until like 5 o'clock this afternoon, a little
Okay.
after 5, so.
Did anyone get a look at the abstracts?
Yes.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so would anyone like to make a motion to approve the abstracts?
I'll offer it.
Rob?
I'll second.
Gail, all in favor?
Aye.
So carries. All right, let me get into these correspondence here. There's a bunch of them today. Okay. Let me move Rob's head out of the way here. All right. So the first one is this. We've seen a couple of letters about this. This is the Champlain Hudson Power Express. This one actually did give some detail, if you look through it, on where it's going. The only place it lists in Greene County is through Catskill over the Catskill Creek. I didn't see anything in there that was specifically pertinent to Athens. Stop me if you have questions as I go through these. Second one is Flint Mine Solar. This is the environmental capability public need. This is not the meeting. This is the meetings. So there's meetings on environmental suitability for the Flint Mine Solar on October 21st. And it's via WebEx.
22nd.
21st.
Oh.
Wednesday the 21st. That's this. There's another.
Oh, there's another one.
Yep. This is the. This is for the environmental compatibility for Flint Mine. And then number 3 is Flint Mine, and this is the public statement hearing, and that's on October 22nd at 1 and 6.
Do you think I should post these on the?
Yeah, I think it's worth posting. Yeah, and I'll talk about when we get to the end. I'll talk about what the village's engagement has been with these as we go kind of around the table on old business.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Where I am here. Greene County Public Health Department. There was a rabies, a dog bit by a rabid animal, so it lists the quarantine period and quarantine requirements of that. Everyone can take a look through that. So we got a couple from NYMER here that we'll go through. Is Wayne still on?
I think he left.
Yes. No,
Oh,
man.
he's,
Good,
Okay.
good. Okay, sorry, I'm jumping back and forth here. So some of these, Wayne, will engage you on here as we go through these. It's stuff that we've done before. I don't think there's anything in these as I go through that we haven't already responded to. I think we'll have to dust off some responses from last year. But first is basically just a general note. We have traditionally been slightly over the loss severity limits. I'd be surprised if we were this year. I think it's on a 5-year average. So I think we just stay on it until we get down for a certain number of years is my impression. But the individual, MJ, what's his name? Nolan Pazin is kind of kicking this process off. He's going to meet with MJ this week and start kind of this annual process that's resulted in a lot of these pieces of correspondence that we'll go through. Next is also NYMER. Let's see what this is. Okay, so this one does cite us on a report, and this is one we answered last year, and I'm not sure why he's citing us again with this. And let me see if it does not imply. Yeah, so so it looks like this is based not on something specific in Athens, but based on a trend for all NYMER clients. And the write-up is one that we got last year as well, and we responded to around the vehicle checklist, Wayne.
Yeah.
So I think now that we've had that vehicle checklist in place for a year, some evidence that we've been using it would be a good way to respond to this one, and hopefully we don't keep having to respond every year.
Yeah.
Last year we showed them a checklist. This year, if we could show, the number, I don't know how we track that, but if we have some tracking sheets, that would be ideal.
All right. Yeah, we have them when they've been used. We have a file of them showing that we've been using the checklist.
So that's what we should be showing. Now it's meant to be a daily pre-trip, so
Yeah.
whatever evidence we can show that we're using, that would be good. If the evidence shows that we're not doing a very good job, then we'll need to put some corrective action in place to ensure that we can illustrate that we will. So this is something I'd like to review this in 2 weeks since it's not new, and we'll close it out. Does he give us a date on here that we need a response? I didn't see one.
I think one is 60 days.
60 days. This one is 60 days, Wayne.
Okay.
So let's see if we can't review something in 2 weeks, please.
All right.
Certainly close this out by the next department head meeting. But this,
All right.
this is just you or Anthony and I going through those reports. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Next one. Oops. I'm gonna see here. Okay, good. So that's it from NYMER. Next one is Lighthouse Church. They're doing their Harvest Festival They had asked to do the hayride. We sent back requesting essentially that they highlight COVID, responsible COVID measures. So they came back, face masks will be required, sanitation stations will be available, 6-foot social distancing. And to me, the most important one is that they can track and monitor number of guests on site at all times. So this, to me, this answers. Any questions on this one or concerns over it?
No?
Okay, so the original ask with this one had been to board approval for them to do their hayride. So would anyone like to make a motion to approve the hayride? And I think they're asking for some police support for the hayride as well, which I think it's a great opportunity for some, community policing engagement, Gail. So let's make sure we've got some
Date of
coverage.
that again?
What's that?
What was the date of that again? Does it say on there?
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
the 24th, I think, of October.
Okay.
Yeah, October 24th, 5 to 7 p.m.
Okay.
I'm seeing 7 to 8 p.m. And I'm not seeing a date on this.
Your first letter before.
First letter said the
COVID.
24th.
Yeah, the first letter from September before they put in the COVID language has October 24th, 5 to, oh, so I don't know the time, but they did mention October 24th.
Okay, this one
In
says
one
7 to
letter.
8. All right, so they're asking for local police to be notified, but I think this would be a good one to have, community presence. All right, at any rate, would anyone like to make a motion to approve Lighthouse Church to do their hayride and to support with local police?
I will.
I would.
So I heard Amy first and then Ricky second. Is that okay?
Sounds
Yep. As long as they follow the rules.
Right. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. MJ, can you just clarify the time and date on that for me, please?
Yeah.
He gives, the pastor gives a cell number at the bottom. Okay, and I think that's it for correspondence. It is. New business. So we already touched on this. MJ, you want to talk about the insurance agent a little bit?
Yeah, he'll be here tomorrow morning. He wants to go over the number of police officers, because I guess he discussed that with you last year, he said, and the annual budget amount that we give to them. So it's an insurance related thing. I was just looking at the list. Rick, if you want to be there too, he'll be there at 10 o'clock tomorrow if you have questions for him on
Okay,
insurance.
I'll stop over at 10.
Okay. And that's about it. And just because it's time to renew at the end of the year, so he usually stops by and see how things are going.
Good.
Mary Jo, is that Nolan's Basin?
It is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, under old business, we had the community center building. We talked about that with Tal, and Tal and I will work up our next letter there. But Gail, any insight you can glean as well on whether their board has discussed this any further? We have not received any responses either to our letter or to my email. Fire protection contract. Gail, do you have anything on that?
No, I have to just meet with him, set up a time.
Okay.
Probably, it won't be this week. It'll probably be next week at some point.
Okay. All right, so we'll go around the virtual room here. I'm going to go the order that I've got folks on my Zoom, if that's all right. So we'll start with Amy.
Okay, I got a couple of questions from the chat. One is, when is the public review for the policing committee review?
So I'm going to review that. I'm going to go over where we are and how we've prioritized issues at the next meeting. That's what I asked MJ to put me on the public agenda for that.
Okay.
So that's where I'll kind of go through where we are and get any feedback on our priorities and plan to date. And then the only required public hearing would be when we go to propose either policy changes or new laws pertaining to policing, that we would hold a public hearing then. But I will do it as a matter of course through a few of the board meetings as we move forward.
Okay. And another question was, is there any movement on the development on 385 by Brick Row? That 98?
No, there is no movement. I was in touch with him a couple of weeks ago. He had attempted to sell it, and the sale fell through. So I asked him, are you still moving forward? And essentially he's not. So right now there is no planned movement there. I get the impression he wants to sell it. I think he thinks there's more money in selling it than developing it right now. So that's the impression that I get. Right now, the last correspondence I had with them, which was probably 2 to 3 weeks ago, was that he is not moving forward at this time.
Okay. And then just for communications aspects, is there any messaging that we want to put out about Halloween, or are we just going to kind of wait and see how things are going?
I would like to, yeah, maybe you and I can talk about it. I think there's some state guidance out there. We need to make it clear that you can't anticipate going to every door. I think what the state guidance says, it lights on and decorations mean the house is open for trick-or-treating. So I'd like to kind of put something out on that. You know, I think we're not going to do anything fancier. We'll be in line with state guidance. But I think both, you know, like I don't have any decorations out on the front, but I will put, you know, I will have candy. So I need to make sure that I'm aligned with state guidance so people come to my door, as well as people understand what doors they can go to. So I think it is worth putting something out.
Okay, so we'll just get together on that. I'll do like a blog post and hit social media and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's it for me.
Ricky.
I had a couple people come to me concerning the light down behind the new DPW building was going to be removed. And I'm ahead of partly safety, and I don't believe that's a good idea to move it. But then Gail filled me in and said that you're not moving it.
We're changing it to, there's another light going up there, and there's several other directional lights going in for security. So there'll be much more specific security lights put back there. So the one overhead non-directional light will be removed, and it'll be replaced with specific security lights, directional security lights.
Well, that answered that one. Then there was another one. I had Mr. Serrano come to me about his street light being not put up. I don't know much about that.
MJ, can you find out where we are? We made that request a year ago.
Over a year.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But then they told me that for him to get in contact with Central Hudson.
Well,
Is that correct?
I think we should.
Last I knew, I believe Dawn made a phone call to Central Hudson
Yeah,
last.
we talked about this a couple meetings back, right? A couple months ago.
Yeah, I know. It's been going on for what, year? And so a year ago, this past summer, I believe it was.
I think we did our part and we sent all
Yeah.
the information to Central Hudson and then never heard anything from Central Hudson, so.
Yeah, so I don't know if they sent anybody out there to look at the area or whatever.
So MJ or Dawn, can you just call them and get an update for us, please?
And that's all I got. I mean, I can't go too far because they're after me, and I got sworn in. He was right there after me, questioned me already.
All right.
Welcome to the board.
I guess that goes with the job, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Rob, what do you got?
That's all I got.
All right, thank you, Ricky. Rob?
Well, we already covered the salt shed thing, so that's off my list. The only thing I got is I kind of at a standstill right now with the Auctions International with all the surplus stuff because we're missing a couple titles to vehicles and they won't list them without copies of the titles. So last I knew, I believe we already had filled the paperwork out to submit the motor vehicle to get the duplicates for the titles. We were missing the title for the police car. And also the title for the orange international dump truck, the 99 down there. So that's where we're at with that. Hoping by the time the snow flies, we'll get the duplicates for the titles or whatever and get that stuff listed. I still have
Yeah,
all.
we're making progress.
Yeah,
We
we're
are
making.
making progress, so we're getting there. We got all the paperwork back from DMV, so it shouldn't be long now. They said a couple weeks.
Yeah, I know motor vehicles been a little slower with everything because of the COVID stuff there. So, it's a little more complicated to deal with them right now. But hopefully soon we'll get those titles in hand so we can get all that stuff listed on Auctions International. So,
Okay.
that's all I have.
Thanks for staying on top of that, Ron.
Yep, no problem.
Gail.
I don't have much other than tomorrow night I have a CAC meeting, so I'll be bringing information back to our next meeting on that. Next week I have a planning board meeting. I'll let you know what's going on there. But I'm going to miss the steering committee meeting. But Josh said he would send me like minutes and stuff, so I'll be able to report on things like that.
Okay. I'm going to get Ed and Jeff and try to get them with Maggie before that meeting.
Okay.
But what I'd like is, and you can help me with this, is, the first meeting or two, just let them be a fly on the wall and then get on, touch base with Maggie afterwards so that we're not putting them on the spot, while they're in their learning process here.
Right.
But I do want to make, just like I asked them, even though they didn't have much tonight, ask them to attend just to show the presence and show that they are going to start attending these meetings. I think it's equally as important that they attend the planning board meetings, even if, initially it's kind of as a silent partner, just to let the planning board know they're there and they're going to start participating like they should. Okay. So I'll touch base with Maggie this week.
Okay, so you want me to get in touch with Ed and ask him to attend that meeting?
He already knows. I talked to him.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I'm just letting you know.
All right.
Although
And that's all.
we probably should get him on the invite.
Is there an invite?
No.
I don't have an invite.
You know what? I don't know there is. I created one myself, I guess. So no, there probably isn't. Okay. I'll make sure. I'll follow. All right. MJ.
Nothing.
Nothing. All right. I got two things. First, I talked about when we were talking about the Flint mine. We've talked about before, there are two projects out there. There's the Flint mine solar and the Hecate solar. The initial issue, and the only reason that we or I threw our hat in as part of the intervenor funding is because there were two studies done, independent studies done, that both stated that if not constructed, I'm not going to remember exactly the phrase, but essentially if it's not constructed very carefully, that the individual runoff from the compacted earth and the solar panels will increase runoff and therefore potentially increase erosion at the lake. And the dam at the lake is an earthen dam, so it erodes just like the earth around it. And so where I got involved was to say, we've got two independent studies, each one saying if we're not careful, we're going to have excessive erosion. What happens when we put the both of them together? How do we make sure we're being careful, not just about one individual one, but about the consolidation of both of them? We got, very little has happened to date, but we did, I worked with the engineer a couple of weeks ago to get a letter out to those pertinent parties to ensure that they're reviewing that. And that's part of the engineering studies. And I will continue to follow up. But that's the only dog in the fight, so to speak, that I think Athens has. Personal opinions about the aesthetics in Cooksaki or the aesthetics on 9W or anything else, not the Village of Athens concern in my view. The only concern that I have, the only dog that I think we have in the fight is relative to the potential impact on the village should we have a problem with the dam. I continue to engage in them. The second, you guys authorized me at the last meeting to engage the local Athens Realtor if I could get less than 5%. He agreed to do it for 4.5%. Honestly, when we were talking about, we should be able to get to 5% easily. I think all of us were in the frame of reference of residential. Commercial apparently starts at 8%, not 6%, but nonetheless, he agreed to do it at 4.5%. So MJ, if you're still there, he should be reaching out to you for some tax record type things. Still there, MJ?
She has left her seat.
Okay. And he's already reached out to code enforcement for zoning questions, concerns, etc. Okay, those were my only 2 items. If there's nothing else, would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll offer.
Rob?
I'll second.
Amy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned at 7:56. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.